I want to bring up something that recently came into mind, but more so it was just something that I had a conversation about, and I just think it's very important because it kind of sums up a lot of people, in our age. If you're in your early 20s, your mid 20s, that kind of age range, and you kind of like don't know where you are, and you're not expected to know. Let's just say that. Like even when you're before your 20s, you're told you have to do this, or that you have to follow this route in order to be successful, right? And when you're in your 20s, you're kind of like, well, the whole idea of kind of success it's very independent for sure, but I would say it's influenced by a lot of different things, and a lot of things that you see, like that you hear, especially through social media and just through kind of what kind of is meant to be success. And what I mean by this is like, you see people do really well, and you see the kind of you have to be making X amount of money to be like successful, right? This is what, and a lot of the time, the reason why I said social media is because it's a lot of people post their own successes, which is completely fine, but don't take it into your own personal life thinking that, oh, this is what I need to do in order to be happy because I see someone else posting a still image or a 30-second clip of what I think is what they are believing to be happy, right? But the topic of this video isn't actually about that. It's something that I recently had a conversation with two people, and it's perfect because one of them is basically the same age as me, just a year younger, and the other is again very similar age, but actually a little more, I guess older than me, but in their late 20s, early 30s, and it kind of like, it really like, I wouldn't say it made me sad, but it made me just feel sorry, if I'm being honest. And I'm not saying this in a condescending way or anything like that. I'm purely saying because this is the majority of people. Because when we don't know where we are heading and we have no idea on what we are meant to be kind of doing, we kind of follow whatever structure and path that is already given, and typically this tends to be, a 9 to 5, for example, because it's easy. People go for the 9 to 5 route because it is easy. It's a given structure. When you're at school, you have to follow that route because that is the route that's only available, right? That's the only option. And and a lot of people in the UK, I'm not sure about how it is in America or anywhere else in the world, but I'm assuming it's very similar, especially in Western countries. But you go into university because you don't know what you want to do after you finish school. You don't know. That's just simply the reason. Like, unless you have to go to university to gain a specific degree to do the job that you really want to do. For example, if you want to become a doctor or a lawyer, or a specific engineer, you have to do a degree, because it's the only form of certification that makes you employable for those jobs, and that's fair. If you have to do that path, then you have to do the path. Like, it's that simple. But the majority is people don't know, including myself. I took that route. People don't know like what path to take, so they take the easiest option, and that is unfortunately for example, university. I don't have a brain freeze right there, but there is this traffic is not moving. I cannot believe what's going on. But alright, so the thing that really got me thinking the most, the conversation that I had last week, was one of my friends, or one of them at least, is really into but both of them are very much so into the creative side, but they have their jobs are nothing to do with really being creative at all. It's just a typical 9 to 5, and they're very good at their jobs, don't get me wrong, but it's very different to what they really wanted to do. And one of them is very much into dance, one of them is very much into photography, and they weren't really told to, or at least it was I wouldn't say frowned upon, but it was not desirable. It was not desirable for them to go into anything creative like their passions, because especially parents thought that was not the right route that they should take, because it's not traditional. It's not taking a creative route is definitely not traditional, and more so you're not meant to be typically paid enough, unfortunately. But it's not about even taking the route, it's just about pursuing that goal, and unfortunately they kind of basically gave up, or they just, now they're kind of forced to give up on it, or spend the bare minimum amount of time, simply because of the path that they are in now requires a lot more time into their 9 to 5, and then with that, that's basically your whole week structured. It's gone. And I just wanted to say, it's definitely possible to work hard with a 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, for example what I'm doing, but also have a passion that you're pursuing. It's definitely possible to do that, for sure. It's hard, it's not easy. It's but you just need to make sacrifices. That's what I think. You just have to make certain sacrifices. You've got a finite amount of hours in the week. A lot of them is spent on your day job or whatever, but you've got to put it into your passion or whatever, right? And because it's just a lot more easier for you to come home and not have to really do anything, because you're already tired after a long 9 to 5 day. You just want to relax, and I get that. But that's the whole issue with just being in it, being given a system rather than making a system, right? If you make a system that you want to, if you pursue early, or it doesn't even need to be early, but if you pursue that intentional goal that you have, if you just pursue it, you overcome the difficult moments, find a way where you can balance, find that sweet spot of working hard but living. It's very difficult to explain, but what I'm trying to say is finding that sweet spot where you are working your day job or whatever, but then you're coming back and you're putting in the hours into what you want your future career to really be like, and that is kind of where I'm at the moment. But also the reason why I felt sorry is because those passions that they have, and it's not just them, it's more so a lot of people that I know, and it's not too late to change it. You just have to put in the work, and you have to set yourself those intentional goals first. And you can do it. It's definitely easy. I mean, definitely possible, not easy. And I just wanted to say that if you have a goal and ambition, just keep focus on that thing. and visualize the end goal. That's personally what I have found useful, is to just keep the end goal in mind. And once you've kept the end goal in mind, then whatever you do in that your day-to-day life, your daily life, you know that you have a bigger thing that you are working towards. You have a kind of a larger goal in mind that you are trying your hardest to go get. And obviously there's going to be difficult moments, right? And it's just about staying consistent. And it's cliche to say, oh, consistency is the key, but it really is. No one can like get there from one point to the other without consistency. Consistency definitely is the way forward. But yeah, if you're watching this, especially if you got to this far in the end of the video, so thank you. But what is that end goal that you're looking for? Like, what is that end goal that you want? Ask yourself that. Like, what do I want my life to really look like? If I could structure my day right now, get a pen, get a piece of paper, or use your laptop. Write down your day in the life, your ideal day in the life, starting from the moment you wake up until you step into bed. What is that? Everything in between, what does it look like for you? Write that down. Be very specific. Do you wake up, you go for a run, or you wake up, you get ready, you go out, you make yourself a coffee? What kind of coffee do you have? A latte, a flat white, whatever. You get in. What does your next hour look like? What does your lunch look like? What do you do to make money, and how do you sustain yourself? How do you look after your health? Make sure you get every single point of that day in the life, the ideal day in the life that you have. Write it into a piece of paper, put it into like your laptop, and slowly start to implement that. Slowly start to implement that into your real life until every single point of the ideal life becomes the reality. And it's just about finding the ways to try to work towards that. And a lot of people just don't know what their ideal life is. That for example, if I want to be a dancer, let's say I want to be a dancer, right? What does my day in the life of a dancer really look like? Do I wake up, I go into the gym, I get warm up, I practice, I have food afterwards, chill for a bit, I practice again. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not sitting behind a desk, working. Not that there isn't anything wrong with that, so I don't want anyone to just get the bad impression here. Like, there's nothing. I mean, I do it myself. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. If you really want to do that, then you'd want to do that. There's nothing wrong. It's just that if your true happiness and your real passion, your real goal comes from something else, why don't you work for that? Why are you doing something completely different without working on that at all? Why can't you do that thing to sustain yourself now, the here and now, but slowly supplement it with working on your, spending an hour a day, spending a couple of hours a week, working on that dream lifestyle, that dream 9 to 5 routine. That dream day in the life routine. Why can't you do that? That's the only question I want to leave you with. I'll see you in the next video.